Hi, family. I'm Rochelle, a grateful follower of Jesus Christ. We're going to start with a foundational scripture reading, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 through 5. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 through 5. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Before we embark upon this new season of mental freedom, first we must identify the battle for your mind. What is scripture referring to when it says we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh? What it's referring to is the reality of a spiritual warfare. Many of us think the problem is on the outside, but the problem is in within. The battle for your mind, the arena for your faith. Everything in my life is a product of my thinking. If I have defeat in my life, I have defeat in my mind. Mental freedom from fear, anxiety, bondage, confusion, and oppression of the mind. A thought unchallenged becomes a belief. If we don't never question our thinking, we're going to just continue going through life thinking, man, it's okay. Okay? This leads to Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay? This is referring to 4 categories of demons. Okay? Principalities, powers, rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places, that have specific assignments to get us to deviate from the purpose God created us for. Okay? Many of us have mental blockages, okay? Mental hindrances hindering us from moving into the next level. Okay? Many of us think, if we just change location, man, if I just do this, if I just do that. No, if you just change your thinking, you can change your life. Okay? 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. What this is referring to is the spiritual warfare we're battling in our minds, okay? Many of us try to fight spiritual battles with carnal weapons. What's a carnal weapon? Arguing, okay? A carnal weapon, a gun, we cannot win this spiritual battle with carnal weapons. We cannot win the spiritual battle with logic. Okay? Getting a head full of information and knowledge will not help us win this battle. How do we win a battle? Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. Okay? And bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. The pathway to mental freedom begins in your mind. Okay? What imaginations, what preconceived ideas we have in our minds that's so powerful that got us in bondage? What took place in our past that we refuse to let go mentally? What is it? Unforgiveness,
Is it somebody who did us wrong? Okay? Forgiving them is not excusing the wrong, it's freeing you in your mind. Okay? Deliverance from deception in your mind. Okay? Just because the battle feels natural, we can't fight the battle with logic. Many of us think self-knowledge, okay, self-reliance can help us win this battle. Many of us have been fighting the same mental battle for years. Not knowing which direction to go, not knowing, trying pills, medication maybe, okay? Into that don't work, trying sleeping around, into that no don't work. Trying drugs, into that don't work, whatever the case may be, trying to fill the empty void on the inside, tired of being sick and tired. You broke, busted, and disgusted, restless, irritable, and discontent. If this is you, if you have experienced this, I believe this sermon has the power to save. We have to come to the realization of the spiritual warfare, okay? We cannot continue going through life just looking at everything just from a physical aspect, okay? We're spiritual beings who live in a physical body who possess a soul. What's a soul? Our mind, our will, and our emotions. We're a spiritual being who lives in a physical body who possess a soul, a mind, will, and emotion. Many of us get soul and spirit confused. There's two different things. You're a spiritual being who is fighting a spiritual battle, who's having human experiences. If we don't accept this realization, we're going to continue. It's basically like we're trying to put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. This may not be for everybody, but this for somebody. We cannot fix an inside problem with outside solutions. The battle for your mind is within. Accepting this is the first start to mental freedom. I'm not going to keep you long. This is the first video on the pathway to mental freedom. I believe this has the power to save. Stay tuned. More is on the way.